just having a chill down before I go to sleep, and it just struck me today, and has struck me more recently, how sometimes music is seen as an extra. But it is so much more than that. And as I look at these arpeggio patterns that you do learn for grade work, adult beginners can learn them very easily. And whether you're a parent looking for music education for your child, or your child has asked you to let them learn to play an instrument, possibly piano, or the adult learner who's reconnecting with their foundations of learning an instrument, and which are good if you've got those there, because they're really helpful. Not essential. And if you are a complete beginner as an adult, then you might not be able to practice, you might not have an instrument, but in that half hour, you can learn to play music. Maybe you're getting off the train from a busy day in London, or whatever you might be doing for your work. It's not an extra. We have music therapists, and if you study for your grades, it might make you stand out as that person. It might not be, for an application, it might not be related to what you're doing, but it just shows that you've applied yourself and you can do something a bit special. It is special. I'm so in awe of songwriters. Let's go up to G. That's very strong to keep it in the same key. That's the second strongest note in the scale. And a bit of a chill. Been teaching lots of very young children today, and I think what I see in that school, as other places like that there's very much about building self-esteem. And it definitely does that. This has been my best friend today. I usually use it for technique, like short hot notes. That's where you play with that part of your finger. Or when I want to apply pressure to make more of a cantabile sound, the singing style. Been teaching the music of Helen Jane Long a lot recently, and I just thought, I bet that lady could start making up her own music, and she did. She was doing it. Doesn't that feel good? It's like when you're learning to ride a bike with stabilizers and then suddenly they come off, and there you are, just to chill down at night. And I'm reminded of where it all started for me, and it's really lovely to remember that. It was my granddad, and I used to spend Saturday mornings, he paid for my piano lessons, which only cost £1 in those days, which is incredible, and I'd rush home with my latest piece. Oh, I was so excited about each piece. My teacher then was amazing. Arranged really good pieces, mostly classics, a few soundtracks. and I learnt to play them all in one day. And always according to my standards, sometimes pushing a bit, sometimes just let me do easy pieces, all the right balance. I think back to my little composition, Julia's song, and it was just full of, it's like this. That was Julia's song, which is of course in the key of G major. It's got the key note, the starting note, and then there's 1 and 3 of the scale, and you can make it sound like a piece of music as soon as you put the D in. He sat down with me one Saturday morning and he said, "Julia, I want you to listen to me." I thought, well, I took this very seriously, head bowed. What is he going to say? And he said, "Julia," in his Geordie accent, "you will always have a friend if you can play piano." And I realised what he meant by that. The only time I've ever really performed was at a concert that I arranged for my students, where I had a teaching school, and that was okay actually, but I don't think I could do that again, just because I find it all quite difficult when everybody's watching, but on the other hand I do like to play, and but anyway, I used to have little concerts around the piano. One Christmas Eve, I love cocktail sausages. I always have. And I lined up all the cocktail sausages over the keys. And every time I finished a piece of music from my family, I'd eat a cocktail sausage. There was so much sausage eating. But one of the pieces I do remember that my then piano teacher taught me was Liebesstrom by Liszt. And it does indeed use the broken chord or the arpeggio, if you want to call it that. So that's the broken chord, and we extend it to the next octave of the key note, and there goes the arpeggio. Now that is really important, to make your wrists nice and relaxed with that. And this is Liebesstrom. I don't have the sheet music anymore. I used to stick them on cardboard every week, coloured cardboard. Classic Julia then would always go up and put it in the next octave up, and then the next one, and break it up, and then there would always be the key note at the top and the key note at the bottom. And I realised at that age, because I used to watch a lot of the old black and white films, that and lots of musicals, that you can make you're not composing because you are playing the piece of music that is written, but you're putting it into a different key, and it's really good to be able to do that. And I was probably doing that at about age 11, and when you the music theory exam that we do now, that does sort of sow the seeds of foundation of that. But if you can get a teacher who can think about those things, and perhaps think about things in your environment, and things that might help you practice more and see what you're doing, you might be able to write pieces of music yourself. And that's so important to be able to do that, because we do get stuck on always reading pieces of music, and they are wonderful. They are wonderful, but you can actually create something for yourself, and that's really special. So if you look at C major broken chord, here we go. Let's tone it down. Find the notes. Do it again. Can you hear the colours? And all it really is using that broken chord and then finding the shapes of the melody within that. So it's, I wasn't really ever taught in some ways, you use pivot chords, it's like quite mathematical, and it has a flow, it's something, it's music theory, and I won't explain it now because that's not what this is about. So I am breaking some of the rules, but we are 2025, so I don't want to get too waffly, and no one might hear this, but I was just reflecting today how everything you do, your education in your childhood, is so important. I was thinking, one minute I'd be listening to Mahler, who's a very serious romantic composer, and the next minute I'd be tuning into my favourite programme of the week, which was Bay City Rollers. I had a serious tartan outfit going on there. I think it's so important to embrace your children's talents, whatever they might be, whether it's music, football, and whilst it might not mean they're going to be a footballer or a concert pianist or whatever that might be, they had a chance at doing it. And indeed I have, and I'm really enjoying it. I was remembering when I did have my teaching school, my daughter looked after my social media account, which was probably the best policy, because at that time, although I have got a little bit better, it's not my strength. And it's good to have an account like that, because people, you sort of get updates, see what everybody else is doing, how the students are doing, and the concert that's coming up. One of the things I used to do was a piano taster session. I raised money for the NSPCC, and I thought that was really cool, because it meant sometimes music lessons aren't always accessible to people, and that means sometimes you get missed. It should be so much more than money driven. I used to have a piano to use service within my website. I do not know how I carried that digital piano around, but I did, and it bridged the gap in the first few lessons before you decide, because it is quite an investment for a parent. Of course, it's easier to get hold of keyboards these days, and digital pianos have become cheaper. So, just sharing some memories, as I expect all teachers reflect on where they found their music. This is happy music, just soothing before you go to sleep. My youngest son designed my first logo. It was beautiful. It was a butterfly on a stave. It was when I was starting to find my first confidence that I could actually derive an income from piano. And I got a t-shirt printed with the logo on. I didn't ask students to wear it. I didn't go that far. I mean, it's good to do that. I'm just saying I didn't do it. And but my second logo was stronger, and I got a grant and funded the rest myself, because that was one of the greatest things that was going on at that time. People were really helping startups. Some of your own money, and then they invest in you. And I was so pedantic. Well, I wasn't meaning to be pedantic, but this poor man, this website provider, so much patience. And anyway, the morning it was launched, I I took the children and I out to TGI's. It was like to celebrate something, but nobody knew it was there, so nothing had really changed, because of course that's the promotion. And we walked, they did this one or two Sundays actually, we walked around putting leaflets through doors. They might not remember it, but we did. That's so cool. Family business. And it's so right, people say, I remember speaking to somebody and at the enterprise who gave me the grant, and they said how hard it is. You can put so many leaflets through doors, you're so lucky if you get one. And I did. We did. I've always been interested in the equinox and things like that. Obviously a moon baby. And it's time for piano. And obviously, because I was trying to derive an income, there was a commercial element. So I would do discounts, like when it's the longest day and things like that. It's just about making it special. It's about helping people connect with it. Like some people I had a birthday present promotion as well, and people would come along, adults, either their partner or their friends bought them a piano lesson, and I framed the piece, the content of the lesson, and we took a picture of their hands and we just made it into a really nice collage. I remember that. I remember going into a school, again carrying my piano, a secondary school, and a bit ambitious, but I tried to get people who hadn't been able to have piano lessons to be able to play music, learn to write a piece of music. We did do it to some extent, and I think they did get something from it. I think what I'm trying to say is, if you have something you have a natural skill for, a natural love of, try and share it. Try and help other people who are not able to pay for it. And startups, please believe in yourself. It's not really an extra. It is if it's about enough food or your petrol. But what learning to play an instrument does when it is complemented with your primary and secondary education, it's just like, definitely, it's really real, it's really valuable. Just having a pause with the thoughts. A quick warm up. Now I haven't been practicing much lately. Shouldn't say that. I'm not on my student's case about practice like that. I know what I'm doing there, and it's working, because you can hear yourself playing music. So you want to play more. This will be a little warm up. This will be my last piece of the night, and I had one more thing actually. I was remembering my concert. It was the year of finding Iron Audi and Helen Jane Long, and I had one student, and he learnt so many of the pieces without being able to read music, which is exactly what my granddad did with the Johann Strauss waltzes. And he did actually play at the concert, but two of my other male students, one of whom introduced me to Helen Jane Long, they just came and supported, which was lovely. And in the interval, there they were, 3 men who was just having their time to do something for themselves, and that's so good. It's so good. Sometimes I think men don't look after themselves well enough. So, quick warm up. That's what I liked to do when I was little. Getting key. Let's play something to go to sleep with. Thank you to the people that used to bring me eggs. Just random things which are so lovely at the end of a lesson. I'm sure you'll know who you are because that family is still friends with me on Facebook. Getting key. Here we go. Remembering a much loved student who supported my other students when they needed some inspiration for the practice. Used to do that as well. Hear the mellow tones of the lower notes. Let's get some. What should we do? You have to be careful with a sustaining pedal or it can get really overwhelmingly cloudy. Now when I'm just having a doodle, I remember my favourite composers earlier like Debussy and Tchaikovsky. Which were probably my biggest influences. Saying goodnight to the special people in my life. Sending lots of love. And to all my students, and I pretty much remember you all, and that's quite a lot of people because I'm quite old now. I'll never forget you. Good night.